throwing and breaking, the defensive back slows and breaks right with it. So the key is, just before the break, you duck your head and pump your arms hard. Now this is how Freddie Veletikoff became a great receiver. If you ever watched his play in black and white, by the way, if you watched his play, he gave the impression of bursting and then breaking everything he did. So if you watch him from behind, he found a way, the last 5 yards, to have his knees pumping, his arms pumping, drop his head and then plant and break. Now what you like to think is at that point, the defensive back goes, whoa, and he breaks. So if you get that defensive back on his heels, at that point, you have beaten. But if you slow down to do it, he slows down to do it. So that's the start of it. Let me try to, I'm going to break this machine, I think. Okay, let's talk about how we would do this. So we sprint 200 meters, sprint, break. The last 5 of any pattern has to be a burst and a break. And that's, as a coach, is something you can help any receiver with, not just less talented ones. Any receiver, you burst and break. Your head drops, your arms punch, you plant, you break. Quarterback takes 3 big steps. In practice, the biggest he can take. And then the 4 quickest he can take. That's a 7-step drop we've all heard. The 3 biggest, the 4 quickest. The key will be to push from center. Don't worry so much about their feet, because some will push and go, some will shove off. That right there will drive you nuts trying to break a habit of it. It's not worth it, I found over some years. The key is to push and get 5 yards on the first 3 steps. If your hips turn 3/4 away from the ball, you're okay. So you don't have to sort of back this way. You'll get the hell out of there as hard as you can. You want to get clearance between the quarterback and the guys blocking for him. And hopefully not the guys rushing. So you know your guys are going to give some ground. You know they're going to shove them. You want to get as much clearance from that as you possibly can, as quick as you can. First 3 steps, as big as you can make, driving back. Now once you've got those 3 steps completed, I'm telling you, you're going. Now your problem is to slow down. So you take the 3 biggest, and then the 4 quickest you can take. That's the key to it. So you've got your depth on 3, you're recovering on the next 4, and you end up, depending on your guy, 9 to 11 yards deep. We want our guy between 9 and 10. At the end of the drop, I don't have a football here, but at the end of the drop, we want to be able to bounce and throw. Well, if you don't take those 4 quick steps, when you get to the end of the drop, your inertia is going this way. One muscle group is saying go this way, and you're trying to get the other muscle group to go that way, and you're skidding back trying to think you can throw a pass. Typically, your body weight's back, you're throwing off your back foot, and the ball is going to drop short by about 8 yards. So it's key for us that at the end of the drop, we bounce. Now, if you watch Joe Montana, and this took me some years to figure out, which something he did that I didn't coach, he just inherently did, was at the end of his drop, I'm going to strangle myself up here, at the end of his drop, there is a bounce, straight up and down. He's helping himself get rid of that inertia that's pushed him back. So right at the end, you'll see Joe's head pop up, and I'm sure you've all seen that beautiful style of his. For years, I'd coach Dan Faust, Kenny Anderson, these kind of guys, to stay low, bend their knees, and stay down in here. Well, this last year, I had Joe out demonstrating, which is strictly legal, John, during NCAA freaking rule. I had Joe demonstrating with our quarterback being some distance away. Please understand me. And Joe was bounced into throw, and then suddenly, there it is. So now Steve Stenstrom bounces and throws, and boy, his game picked up like that. So that bounce coming off of it is absolutely critical, and that's what Montana has done for football. So the key is the three biggest steps, the four quickest: a bounce at the end and a hitch step. So right at the end, I'm boom, and I'm up and I'm forward, moving forward to throw the ball. So when we throw this, three big, four quick, a hitch step, throw. This man is at 22 yards. If it's Freddie Epstein, he's probably at 8 yards. The key is you have to adapt the quarterback to this. So the receiver may go less deep. As an example, when we had Ronaldo Nehemiah playing for us, Ronaldo was coached to go 24 yards. When Dwight Clark was playing, it was all pro, as you know, typically it was 19. Didn't bother Dwight to go 19, it didn't bother Ronaldo, because Ronaldo was a step or two faster than Dwight. And so when we practiced it, that became very important to us, because Joe was going to put that ball up, and it's about a third of the way there when that receiver looks. Now, believe it or not, with Stanford, we can do that, with Stenstrom and the guys he's working with. So what we want is this receiver, when he looks, to look for a ball coming right over his shoulder. When he plants, it's his inside foot, he drives off and comes back. When you throw a comeback pass, you don't throw it to the receiver, you throw it to a spot that basically is 6 feet in diameter right there. We figure that the receiver can adjust to that. So if your guy is dropping back, looking at the receiver and throwing to him, the ball is going to always be late. We're going to get so used to dropping back and throwing to that same spot that the receiver will find it when it gets there. So the ball is not thrown to the receiver, it's thrown to a spot 6 by 6. And we know that. We want the ball to carry to him, so it's critical that we take that hitch step or even two. When I say that, I mean, at the end of the drop, we've crossed over bounce, we might take two and throw. But the point is, our body weight's got to be going with it, just like a guy throwing a javelin or a shot or anything else. You're not about to do it this way. So this is a part of it. So that pass with a man basically split 8 yards, we may increase it on occasion, thrown on time and caught is something that we practice. So what I'm pointing this out for is this is a skill. That is a skill. When you isolate those things, you find a way to practice them. Now, somebody would say, what happens if this guy goes up and he does that? Well, if we see that before the snap, typically we're going to throw the ball to the tight end. But if we don't see it before the snap, this man starts, releases outside, sprints, and then levels off, and the ball is thrown right high over his head, right here at 16 yards approximately. So that he's avoided this man, and this man has not gotten there. There's a dead area if they rotate. They call this, what, fade pattern, seam pattern, whatever people call it. Point is, that's the adjustment we make a lot of the time. So now, when we recognize that, if we're thinking this side and we see it, all we want to make sure we do is throw it high over his head. Now, if you're throwing a fade pattern, it's thrown, if I'm on this side, safety's coming, corner's retreating, I want the ball thrown way over here, even if it's incomplete. The last thing I want here, as you might guess, is have the ball thrown inside and he makes a play on it. So it's got to be thrown up over the top on the outside arm. Now, I'm not trying to suggest you guys do this. What I'm trying to suggest is this is the simplest thing in football. But it's been refined for years, and the guy coaching it knows it. So if you have football, you should be able to take it, hopefully, to this kind of level, even if it's a base block I-formation run. Not design a new one, or a new kind of run, or a new formation, or they'll never be able to adjust to this. How many times have you been through the one, they'll never adjust to it? They didn't, but they did it the wrong way. And you got all screwed up. So the point is, the simplest of things are brought to the most minute detail and practiced that way. So now if you isolate the skills of your positions, you'd like to think that you've studied your football long and hard, you've listened to others, you've exchanged with others, but you begin to get in this kind of detail as you teach it. These are all coaching points, and then find a way every day to practice this 4 times on each side after everybody's through the practice. That's what we would do. So we talked about the, we talked about the last 3 plays. We've talked. No, I'm okay, John. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take about a 3-minute break, and I won't get them back in here. These guys are gone if they get a chance to get out of here. But let's take 5 minutes, okay? Then I can keep talking. Okay, I got some questions. All right. Well, next thing I talk about is like a 5-step drop, which typically is more like what you guys would do. And we have, again, and I don't expect you to adapt this stuff, but we have a 5-step drop, and we can talk about the depth of each step. So if we're going to throw an out, what we call a square out, which you see people do, we vary the split of the receiver, but we like to throw it in the short side of the field as in college. The square out is one in which the receiver sprints full speed and crosses over and breaks out, the ball's thrown. We've all seen it. And we don't, on the square out, plant our foot because we want to keep a rolling start and we don't want to lose our speed. So at 10, the receiver crosses over and breaks out and ends up at 12. Now, the way we get that done is to practice it. We put a towel right there, and he has to go around it. The quarterback takes 5 quick steps, the 5 quickest steps he can take. So he's going to throw the ball 6.5 to 7 yards deep. And he's going to take the quickest steps he can take. When he ends up on his 5th step, he plants his foot, opens up, and throws, because this is all on time. So when we throw our timing patterns in football, the number of steps and the quickness of the throw really become, this for me? Great. Really become important. So for us, when you see Montana do this, of course, we've done it for years, and John Brody really was the guy many years ago that timed a lot of his stuff this way. But at the end of the drop, our right foot hits, and now we just open up for throwing left and throw. So now you practice the foot hitting, opening, and throwing. Now the way we're able to do that is take 5 quick steps. If we took 5 big steps, we would have too much body weight back and we couldn't get the ball. So it's important for us now as we drop to be able to keep our feet up underneath us and take the 5 quickest steps we can take, hit, open, throw. Then of course, I'll get it right with you. Then of course, if the guy's not open, they have to pull the ball back and go there all the receiver. Yeah.
When he's taking that drop, turn to throw the out, does he still take it a little high?
No. This is the one where your right foot hits and you throw. So we take drops, we throw off our right foot, being right-handed. So after 5 steps, that foot hits. I practice just wheeling right off of it and throwing the ball. That's why we don't split the receiver too far, because we don't want the ball to bounce to him. We know when we throw an out break like that, we don't lead him. We throw the ball right at him. Because if the receiver is going parallel to the football and you lead him, the ball will stay ahead of him all the way through its course. You throw it right at him. But it's 5 quick steps and throw a square out. We like throwing to our left better than our right, because you can throw more accurately on a square out to your left, because you have a little more body control when that foot hits to open up and throw. Throwing to the right, typically your right foot gets too far underneath you and you don't get off it well enough. So we like to throw the square out to our left. But my point is, in the 5-step drop, those are 5 quick steps. Now, if we're throwing an in break, it's 5 big steps, you see? So now if we're going to throw in, we don't have to time it quite so tightly, because the receiver is going to be between the quarterback and the defender. On an out break, the defender can get underneath it. On an in break, he really can't. He can cover it tightly, but he can't. So now we're going to take 5 big steps and a hitch step. So now we get back to the Montana technique of 5 big steps, bounce, throw. You see? So breaking in, we can take that hitch step. Breaking out, we'd better not do it if we're throwing short, because if we're bouncing and then throwing, that defensive back makes a hell of a break on the ball. So my point is, when you talk to your quarterback, you have to decide on what to tell him about his steps. Because if he has some reference points, it's going to really help him. If he doesn't have any reference points, one will take big steps, the other will take short steps, and you really won't be able to time your passes very well, because one quarterback will be different than the other. Naturally, the depth of the pattern has something to do with this. Now, if I want to coach a quarterback, as the coach, if he's throwing to his right, I want to stand right here, looking there. That way I can see through him the path of the ball and see exactly what he sees when he throws the ball, and also figure the timing between the two. The last thing you want in your passing game is for the receiver to break before the quarterback can throw in the ball. Because when that happens, the defender has broken with him. The defender's basically going to read the receiver. So the receiver breaks, the defender breaks, you haven't thrown the ball. The minute both of them have broken, there is a free-for-all for the ball. Both of them are eligible receivers at that point. So the key is that he does not break before he can throw it. Or just about as bad is he's set to throw, he's looking, and he hasn't broken yet. That way, the defender, if he's looking back, he sees where the quarterback's going to throw the ball, he starts to make a jump on the throw before the defender, before the receiver knows it's coming. So as a coach, you stand back here and you try to get some facsimile of timing between the quarterback and the receiver, and from here you can do it. If he's holding the ball too long, then throwing, you can see it. If the receiver's breaking before he's ready to throw, you can see it. Now, how exacting does that get? In the National Football League, it's a science. High school football, you just want to make sure it doesn't go to either extreme and you not realize what's happening. Because obviously in high school football, you don't have the time, you don't have experience with these guys. And so these things aren't quite as exacting, but you better stand here and see how that works out. Because the man covering does not verbally figure these things out. In other words, he's not back there saying, look, I think I see something. He is just playing football. It's like playing basketball. He's playing football. He senses it. He intuitively feels what's happening to him if he's a good football player when he does that. He'll do it. He won't tell you how he knew, but he'll know. So in all your patterns, in practice, you want to stand here and see through that. in, you want to adjust the depth here, or adjust the length of the steps here so it works out. You can say, okay, I got it. So you can say, Johnny, take bigger steps if you can, because you're ready to throw the ball before he's ready. Or you can say, Johnny, take quicker steps because you're going to have to get the ball off sooner. So you can vary those kind of things as you coach it. So the simplest of things are help here, and the level of skill you have is depending on, obviously, the guys you got working for you. I can remember I had little, what was his name? Jimmy Abrams playing quarterback at Washington High. It was Jimmy Amaro. Oh no, I mean, there's no way. He'd have had to take a half a step in order to time. I mean, but the point is, he's a very, works for IBM and also no big deal. He's got grandchildren. But the point is, you're limited by things. And of course, this is just part of that. We had a question.
Yeah, just when you're talking about the outcome to the left, he's taking that drop step. What do you do with the quarterback so you can see over there?
Well, on the left, you'd like to say you take no more than a half turn. So you're this way. You're crossing over this way to throw left. Now, some people back their quarterback up, which we've never been willing to do. To me, you're asking for all kind of problems. First place, he's going to end up throwing off his back foot. Second place, if anybody breaks in the pass rush, he can't avoid it. He's backpedaling and they're coming. He has nowhere to go. If you get our quarterback this way and he feels it, he can go. But this way, you're helpless. So I think that's just
Bill, your team generally use a lot tighter splits than most other people. But what is your thinking behind that?
Well, the shorter amount of time the ball's in the air, the better it is for the offense. So we want to shorten the distance, shorten the amount of time that the defender has to adjust. Plus that, people don't practice against it. You see that touchdown pass I threw where John Taylor was tight. People don't practice against that in the passing game. What they want to practice against is a guy spread out wide and a guy standing out there with him. And the old idea is spread them out. The problem with spreading them out is the ball has to travel too goddamn far. I saw Colorado play Iowa State a while back. I was visiting my daughter up at Colorado, and Iowa State had a receiver over here, even when the ball was in his hatch. So what was he doing over there? You could never throw him the ball. He was 50 yards away. Well, with us, our guy would have been right here. So we don't want the ball in the air very long. People don't practice against it very well. And we can get different kind of patterns we can develop in close to other people that just aren't there for you when that guy split way out. The whole idea, man, of spreading them out is a good theory. You know, just like telling the Indianapolis guy, keep your foot on the throttle. I mean, I'm the guy coaching you. I mean, there's a hell of a lot more than that to it. Spreading them out means they're further away from the quarterback. It means the ball has to travel further. Now, how I'd say if the ball travels 5 yards further, the defensive guy can run 2 steps if he's any kind of an athlete. So you're giving up a step or 2 for every 5 yards. If you want a lot of close plays, split your receiver out. The only thing we would do, if we want to break in, we split out. If we want to break out, we split in. Now, there's all kind of adjustments from there. Plus that, when you reduce your split, something Iowa State didn't think of, when you reduce your split, this guy can get over there. And how many times have you seen Jared Rice catch the ball or John Taylor breaking this way and then turning up the field and going 60 yards? Dwight Clark made a living of going from a tight receiver over there. So we want to have this guy go to that side of the field whenever we want to. See, we don't want to keep him way the hell out over here, standing in a special stance or something. We want these guys to be able to cover ground across the field. So there's all kind of theories there. So you'll see us one week with a wide split, another week with a tight, and a week. That's just part of the science of the game. But getting back to the steps, this is a way as a quarterback coach or as a head coach, you look through and you can tell what you want. Now I've been asked, I'm going to try to reverse this thing. I think it's about to run out here. Got it. I guess I'm run out of everything. previous speaker. The old over and under. Let me try to find a spot here. Clinic directors have fallen.
That was Coach White.
This Coach White, he was running the over and under fumble drill for 30 minutes. Yeah, this is a skill. You've got to learn this skill. Over and under, over and under, over and under. Great. Here's somebody who had asked about a play that we made so successful. Well, there's all kind of, obviously, defenses, but I'll put one up that... this is North 3-4, they call it, I guess. One of the key plays in high school, college, or pro is the play pass. And that is the very essence of the passing game. It is for us at Stanford. It is for virtually everybody that is willing to give it the time. So the play pass, obviously, is faking a run, then throwing the ball. So one run that we've run at Stanford, one play, would be a trap play in which this man goes there, and this man pulls, and this man double teams, and we trap. We put it back and through. The point is, we're going to try to fake that and pull this guy forward. We're going to pull that guard through the line and throw at him. We're going to aggressively block him. We're going to double down hard. So if this guy's been coached, he's going to fly up in that line to stop that trap. So you've seen Montana do this. This man's going to drive at him, depending on who we're playing that week. He'll either stay in blocking, if it's Lawrence Taylor, as you might guess. But if it's someone else, he may bump him or to say to hell with it and break into the flat. That would be where you'd see Roger Craig. This man must pass protect because we've taken him out of it. These two have these two. So if he blitzed, he'd get him. If he came this way, he'd get him. But these two have him. The guard has him. The fullback runs a full-speed course through here. Nobody touches him. He turns right back and stands here. But the key guy is Dwight Clark, because Dwight is going to go up 5 and angle in. We're going to take 3 big steps after the fake, but the fake is just a token fake. It's up to the back and hit Dwight 9 yards deep running right there. The guy we've affected is this linebacker. We've got a lot of lines there, but this backer's been pulled forward, opening a hole in the zone defense. If this man dropped here, we throw to him. If he blitzes, we're throwing the ball. If he goes flat, we're throwing to him. So that would be red right, pass 331, that's slant. And that is a very basic play. Now we would change up, I'll use this fellow's deal here. We would change up if these were covered. We would change it up because in this case we'd man block it or conceivably be willing to trap it and the back would have him. But the point is, a play pass to pull this guy up and hit a moving receiver. That is the best single thing there is. And this is where Dwight made his career. In later years, we got good enough so that this man ran 7 and broke. So Joe could, using that technique I talked about, hitting on his right foot. Now this takes some practice, but what we want is for Joe to take the ball. He makes this move right here, he pulls the ball back, takes the 3rd step, throws. So he's simply from here, here, throw. Well, we got to a point later where Joe would go here, 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 look, keep this right foot bent, sit right back on it, then from here, look over to Freddie Solomon here. So looking here, boom, we hit late on that side, figuring that if they collapsed with their weak safety over to Dwight, Freddie would have a running start over on the other side. So that depended heavily on Montana or whoever it might be, DeBerg, whoever it was, sitting on that right leg and keeping it bent. This is something I developed in just recent years, because before I always wanted to hit step and bounce and all that. But just sitting on that leg, sitting right on it, looking and throwing, or sitting on it and then going to someone else and shoving off. Now the guy that could do that best was Dan Fouts. He had a great way of sitting on his right foot. But that was a 3-step drop, play pass and hitting a moving target. Now, when would you use it? About every other week. When would you use it? 1st and 10. When would you run the trap? 3rd down. And one of the keys for you in your passing game is to obviously set up your passes with your runs. So often you can throw a play on a passing down, you can run on a running down, you pass. Okay, let's look at another combination. That was a 3-step slant off a play pass. The next one is, now again, we vary this split every time. 1 week, this split would be 1 yard, the next week it could be 12, it could be 6, depending on who we're trying to beat, and I'll get into that, is to run your draw play. And the draw play with a great back is probably the best single thing he can do because he has time to see what's going to happen. But now the draw play is run. Basically, we run it off of this man's block, but if he's not covered, we run it off of this man's block. We get our heads on the inside and go over the block, but here's the draw play. Now, when do you run a draw play? Well, you run the draw play on 1st and 10. Most people want to wait till 3rd down to run a draw. When the other team is yelling out, look out for screens and draws, you're going, oh, geez, they just figured out what we're going to do. So in your particular case, the absolutely critical thing is when you run your draws. 1st and 10, beautiful time. Because now, on 3rd down, you fake the draw. Now you know you need the 1st down. You've run the draw effectively on 1st down, or ineffectively. But now on 3rd down, a critical down, you're going to run a play pass in which you fake that same draw. So in this particular case, again, we're getting basically the same kind of block. He checks and is in a flat. He's going to come out and get this guy if he blitzes, if not, turn back. He's going to have responsibility for him. He's got him all the way across. So sometimes we'll double down. We have other ways to do it. But what we want to do is fake the draw and throw the hook. So we run the draw on 1st down, and now it's 3rd down and 6. Here we come back, we fake the draw, and we throw the hook. Both backers are coming forward. Now in this particular case, he would check for an instant on him. He doesn't blitz. He blocks down as hard as he can to get this guy to play here. Or, conceivably, we fake the draw with this man with him, and these two blocking here. So let's just do that one. He goes here on him. These two double down, and he's got him. He's coming out for him, but he stays low. Just remind yourself, on any play pass, the defensive backs will know it's a pass before anybody else because one of your tackles' head comes up. So whenever you run a play pass, the coaching technique and the skill of it is that the tackle's helmet doesn't come up any higher than his stance. So he's down because we know as soon as he stands up like this, the defensive back, the safety man has no idea what he's seeing, but that's not right. He doesn't stand up like that unless they're going to pass. So he's looking for a pass. So one of the keys for the play pass is stay low. When that guard comes out, he's out low. He's here, and then he looks back here, but the point is his hat doesn't come up. So college ball, hats come up. Stanford, hopefully, we keep them down. And with you guys, helmets are down whenever you play pass. They have to stay down. Because the coach on the other side doesn't know what happened, but his defensive backs do. Okay, so we fake this and throw the hook. This man, of course, is to the post in case they blitz. This man is releasing outside, and he's running the hook, but he's staying on his side of the ball. Now, the key to this is the value of faking a draw on 3rd down is that your linemen can pass protect. They don't have to aggressively block on a play pass when it's a fake draw. They can sit back as long as their helmets don't come up. So you're allowed to pass protect at the same time as you fake a run. So it's a perfect setup. These guys, if you hit the draw on them, even for a 4-yard gain, they've seen it before. Now the critical part is the fake. So the fake is absolutely critical. One of the key things for the quarterback is that when he takes the ball, it's kept at waist level all the time. He doesn't swing it out of there like a lot of kids. It doesn't come up like this and then back down. You practice with that ball coming straight here, and he operates from here. From here it goes to here, from here it goes to here, but it doesn't come up here and then go back down there. Now your typical high school guy is going to do one or two things. He's going to bring the ball up here and hand it to somebody. Or he's going to bring it way down here and try to hand it to them. And the key, of course, is that ball comes here, and then everything's done from here. Of course, that goes back to Rocky Carzo and Delaware, the great fundamentals they coached. The key is the ball is here. Now, as I drop back to fake the draw, I want to make sure anytime I fake, got a second? Come on up. I want to tackling. Yeah, I want to just show you for a second about draw fake or any kind of a fake. If this man is the man who's going to take the fake, I want to make sure that the ball is exposed across his waistline at some point. If it's never there, and I do that, I'm not fooling anybody. So the key for me is to extend that ball right in front of him. Now come by, the ball is put back and the arm stays in. So as you look at your quarterback faking, at some point the ball has to be in front of the guy. Then of course at some point you better get it back, pull it away. But the key is that, so if they're faking over here, nobody's fooled. If he comes by the guy and sort of fakes and tries to hide the ball, the guy on the play pass, the reason it works is because of this guy, not the quarterback. You can get the quarterback to fake all day. Here's the guy. So the key for me is to tell him when he's going to fake that he get his near elbow up, but he take his other hand against his stomach, flat, right there, and keep it there. So that I can keep the ball in there as long as I want without the ball being taken out of my hand or this guy panicking and us losing it. So now the ball is pulled out of there without a problem. If he fakes this way, all kind of things can happen. That is what we want. Now the minute the ball comes out, the elbow goes down. That's the key. The elbow goes down when the ball comes out. Now this man must keep his pads in his stance position. In other words, his pads are just out of his stance so that they can't see whether the ball is there. So the linebacker is standing over here looking, sees a ball extended, an elbow or a shoulder go down, and he loses track of the ball. Now how long does he have to lose track of it? That's good, thanks. How long does he have to lose track of it? Half a second, 0.5. So you've already beaten him. If you've held him 0.5, he's never going to get into his zone. If he does, he's late. And even the most disciplined linebackers, if they're fooled, now they have to go back in their zone. They're not going to get the same drop they would if you were just dropping. They're going to lose their drop discipline. So what you're after, when you fake the draw, is to keep this guy in place or get him to step forward or hesitate for half a second, and that allows him to get past his line of vision. So he can see here, but now I'm back in here. There's Chip Myers working behind this guy. He cannot see Chip. He doesn't even know he's there. So now I fake the draw, hold him. Chip works. He doesn't know where he is. Bang, I hit Chip with a 5-step draw. So now that's the fake draw hook. Now, yeah, we don't run that one as much to the left, although it might be better. One of the disagreements I have with most coaches is when they fake to the left and they're having a right-handed man, they come all the way back around again. And I remember watching the Rose Bowl in whatever year it was. Ohio State was behind USC, as they usually were in those games. And Woody Hayes had his guy going over here, or the coach who did it, faking here, then coming way around. There's only about a minute left in the game. What's he faking for, and what's he coming all the way around for? So the absolute key is, for us, when we're going this way, we'll take the ball back here, let this hand go, and work back this way. So we want to stay in a right-handed stance to throw the ball. And that is conceivably the best fake we can have. So we're here, we extend the ball, let him have it, and we're dropping this way. Now our head swings around this way. Now typically if we're going to do that, we're going to throw over here. But the point is, I don't suggest that when you're faking this way, that this guy has to turn all the way around again to throw a football. First place, he's never going to have the balance he wants, and there's no fake to that. He's going here, now he has to come all the way around the fake. Why fake? So to me, the key is coming here, 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 let that thing go, now the head snaps around and we throw it. We've done it that way for years, and I certainly believe in that far more than that other Woody Hayes technique. Now, to beat that backer, I'm just going to throw it this way, we'll change it from week to week. I remember our playing the 49ers when I was with the Bengals some years ago, and Chip Myers was the hottest guy around at the time, catching the ball, big 6'5" guy and wonderful receiver. Chip in that game played from here, and his job was to beat this guy. They happen to have two guys in here. Not this one, this one. So Chip would get past this one and work all the way around on this one. Because this one would go here on the fake, and then lose track of where he was, and Chip was catching the ball, caught 4 of those passes in one game. This man would release out and hook out to try to get the back of the wide with him, and Chip would be here. He'd be fooled. Well, so we would say, take a 1-yard split and beat the far backer. Take a 6-yard split, 4 to 6, and beat the near backer. Take an 8 to 12-yard split and beat the outside backer. So we would say, your job is to release past the corner and beat the W. Your job is to get past the corner and beat the plugger. Your job, go on and on. But the point is, this would vary his split, and now this man would know which of those backers he's working on. Meanwhile, we would tell him, this would be Doug Gressler, by the way, who's sitting right here with the Bengals. We would tell him which guy to really work the fake on so that we could fool him, get the other one disoriented, and throw the ball. So I suggest that the draw play, and of course it can be run from this formation in green, or I, the same way. The draw play is a hell of a play to fake on 3rd down and hit a hook. And the best run you've got is a draw play on 1st down. So what happens in the game, you start the game out and you run the draw. 1st and 10, make 2. Another series, start 1st and 10, hit the draw 4 yards, 5 yards. Whoa. 3rd and 6, fake the draw, the linebacker hops up, you get your key 1st down. So that's the essence of that play thing. Just got another couple of minutes, I guess. And, what's that?
No more than 5.
You want to go 5 steps?
No.
No, you don't want to go 5 steps?
No more than 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. The old coach, I'll do everything he says. He brought me into this stuff. So now you have a 3-step drop. There. That's your 3-step. Now you have a 5-step drop. And that, of course, is varying the split and faking the draw and hooking. And, of course, this guy can come out in the flat wide open. There's 5. 3, 5. Now we go to 7. Okay, now the thing you want to remind yourself is that every play pass, you're trying to fool somebody. On the 3-step drop, we're trying to fool that inside backer to have him step forward and throw the ball right over his head. On the 5-step drop, it could be that we're trying to fool the outside backer so that our hooking guy can get around him. Now, when we go into a 7-step drop, we want the defensive backs. They're the guys we want to fool. So the fake is going to last longer. We're going to hide the ball better because we have more time. We're throwing it down the field. So one of the plays that has become very effective against this defense where there's 2 deep is we want to fool these guys. And what we're going to do, well, let me do it differently. I don't want to talk too much about this with our arch rival right here. Tell them what the hell to do. So now, we're going to play against this sky zone safety. We have Isaac Curtis playing right here. He's an NCAA sprint champion, great football player. Chip Myers was here. Well, I'll tell you what a passing group. Bob Trumpy, you hear him every week. Bruce Coslick, Charlie Joyner. These are all guys on one team. So what we want to do is fake this play, which we all run, hide the ball, and fool him and him. Those are the guys we're after now. So now we have more time. The fullback comes out, and of course he's got the responsibility for this backer because he's releasing inside. If it were too deep, he'd go to a seam. But let's just say he's going to hook. He's your outlet. He's working against this backer. So we tell Bruce Coslick that you're working inside release work on that middle backer, and he has a technique which I could go over. We don't have time. Now we do a hell of a job of faking right here. And this sometimes Roger's best going left because of that, the way I did it. But going to the right, we're coming back to the I formation guy. We put that ball out. He goes by. We let it go. We keep going. Now, meanwhile, we've taken 3 big and 4 quick steps, 7-step drop. Now, if you watch the quarterback's hands, after he hands the ball off, there's a certain natural occurrence that happens. So it's your job, if you're going to fake these things, stand in front of them, run the running play, then run the play pass, one after another, to see what the differences are. But anyway, when that quarterback usually hands that ball off, his arm swings away. Just watch your guy if you have a chance on film. He gets it and sort of swings away. So it's our job as we come back out of extend it, bring it back as the guy passes that ball, that arm swings away. That's part of the fake. You see? Because that's what he does on the run play. It's just naturally when he hands the ball off, that's what he does. So we're going to do all that. And our key is to get Isaac past Thomas, who was a great defensive back for Kansas City. Isaac, to beat him on a go pattern, we want to keep, if we're going to throw a go pattern, we want to keep the defensive back backpedaling as long as we can. Because obviously, we're building up speed, and he's running backwards. So by the time we get to him, you've got your speed built up, and he has to turn and try to sprint with you. So on this kind of a play, we want Isaac to release inside, just slightly, and run right at Thomas. Right at him, it's not Emmett. Right at him. And then as he gets to him, the last second, go out around him, if you possibly can. So we keep him in his back pedal, and all of a sudden we go out around him, he has to turn and run with us. Now, this fake will hold him just for an instant. So he's a great cornerback. He's sitting back there, he's backpedaling with Isaac, he looks in, and just for a split second, it's maybe a runner. He just relaxes a little bit, looking there, we got a 10-3 sprinter coming right at him. So now when he turns, he's really late. And of course, we hit Isaac for the touchdown. So the point is, we want to go inside out at him. So as he comes right at us this way, that quarterback's in there, and we're looking there, and we're seeing the quarterback and him, and we're not sure for an instant who's going to have the ball or what's going to happen. Now we got that heat right on him. We try to step on his toes and then go right out around. Meanwhile, Anderson has faked, taken that hitch step, and the ball is up. Virtually every pass Isaac caught that year, and there were 14 touchdowns, virtually every one was caught, of these kind, were caught at 45 yards. Virtually every one. Now, Kenny had a great arm, and he could get that ball up, and every one of them, we asked that he throw over his outside shoulder on the go pattern, so that this man can't get there. If you wait too long, and your guys will do it, they wait too long and then throw it, and typically, if they want to throw it, they think, uh-oh, I've got to throw it all of my might. So they haul off and throw it and turn, and where does the ball go? They every time pull it to the inside, and the safety is coming over. It's going more to him than it is the defender. So you can't wait and have them throw it all their might, or they'll naturally pull it in here somewhere, just by their hip rotation. The ball's got to be thrown with that bounce and right up over the outside shoulder. With you, it might be 30 yards. With Kenny, it was caught at 45, and my guess is Isaac was flying, so my guess is Isaac's 30 when Kenny throws. And 15 yards later, he's got it over the outside shoulder. We don't want to go inside because the safety, if he's any good, gets over there. Now, they're there. It's covered. Now, how do you know when to throw a go pattern? If you can keep the defensive back in his back pedal, the first 15 to 20 yards, you've got a chance. If he's turned and running, you don't throw the go pattern. So Kenny fakes, and he's looking right now, not so much at Isaac, he's looking for the defensive back. He's backpedaling, we got a chance. He's turned and running, no way, I'm throwing back into Coslet over the middle. So Kenny would read the defensive back, and as to whether he's turned or not, and then he'd throw to Bruce, who's trying to beat this middle linebacker, and he knows he's going to get the ball late. So there is a play pass to beat a defensive back. First, we fake here, and so he can't get a jump on it. We hold him, and we make him just an instant indecisive, and we get the ball past him. So there is a 7-step drop for a touchdown. I got to go. So we've had a 3, 5, and a 7. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a good day.